This isn't actually a serious video, I've just always wanted to do that. On with the video. Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to yet another video. So if you don't know, a couple weeks ago I posted a video talking about League of Legends and just eSports and all that kind of stuff, and people had some issues with some of the things I said about LCS and the state of the game. So I decided that maybe I was being a little bit biased, a little bit unfair, so I asked the question to you guys in some later videos being like, hey, which games are good? Like, give me some games that I might actually enjoy. I'll give it another shot. As some of you might know, I'm going to an actual esports event in on the 13th of May, which is in like less than a week from when I'm recording this. So it might help to have a little bit of a better understanding of competitive play as it is today. So I threw that question out to you guys, and I spent all of yesterday watching LCS games and professional games and all that kind of stuff. I only really cared about competitive play like back during Season 2. Coincidentally, when there was a Scottish guy called Snoopy who was actually competing. That was pretty much my sole reason for actually watching it. But yeah, I'm going to acclimatize myself to some LCS. We're going to watch it, and we'll see how it goes. So the first game that I watched was Echo Fox versus FlyQuest, and kind of wasn't all that impressed. 8 minutes in, I can see there's an awful lot of stopwatches in the game. This is a game that was recommended in the comment section, and it had quite a lot of upvotes, so I thought it would be a good one. But it was back when Relic Shield and Fleet Footwork and Overheal were like a big thing, so wasn't the most action-packed game, although I was actually surprised there was more action than I was anticipating from those setups of 50 stopwatches and lots of Fleet Footworks. There were a couple champions that I do like watching. Cassiopeia, Ryze, like Zac and Alistar, champions that I do like seeing being played. You know, they're like, with Cassiopeia and Ryze, they're like really high skill caps, so it's kind of interesting to see like actually good players use them. And like around like 9:30 in the game, there's like a lot of, everybody just misses all their ultis and all their skill shots, and then Ryze does the stopwatch ulti out, which you can't do anymore, but still, I was very surprised to see like a fight that big at 9 minutes into the game. It was kind of weird. In terms of like the players on both teams, I think I might know like 3 players total over both teams. I know who Huni is. I've seen him play before. I've heard of Dardoch. I've probably seen him play at some point, but I've never really having any interest. And I know Wild Turtle, of course, like from TSM. Everybody else, nothing. So I don't really have any team that I would have favored going into this to watch them win. I assume that is, that's obviously going to be the biggest drive for people to watch this kind of stuff, to pick their favorite team and cheer them on. But, for me, I never really cared, even when I did watch LCS. Sure, I had teams I liked, but I was always just about, I want to see a good game. Which, back then, I thought the games were good. But as of, like, in terms of, like, this game, I wasn't crazy into it, to be fair. So First Blood comes out, like, 13 minutes in the game, which is actually, believe it or not, faster than I thought it would come out. One of my biggest points in the previous video that I made was, like, kind of joking about how it was, like, 20 minutes into the game and there hadn't even been a single kill yet and everybody just plays way too safe. But yeah, I mean, people played kind of safe in these games, but also Wild Turtle's in this game, so I know his reputation with questionable flashes. So I figured that First Blood wouldn't be too far on the horizon. But yeah, it was okay. Like 19 minutes in, I was just like, I mean, obviously this is LCS, right? So everybody farms like beasts, but I was so, even despite the fact I know how well LCS players farm and stuff, just like 25 minutes in, I was just like, holy Christ, how tanky is like Charfin? How tanky are these people? Like, Jesus, nobody dies. Even like Cassiopeia and stuff, even like the casters are like ridiculously like tanky. And I'm just like, this never happens in any of my solo queue games, but still, yeah, like 27 minutes in, like it was a big fight for Baron. It was okay. It was like not the worst game I've ever watched. Like, they took Baron quite like quickly, I suppose you could say, in comparison to some other games. Like, it was not a long game by any stretch of the imagination, which I do appreciate. Like, I know some people probably want the games to go on as long as they can, but like for me, the short and sweet is like perfect by me. So like that was EchoFox versus FlyQuest. Wasn't all that impressed with it, I'm really sorry to say. It didn't sell me on like big LCS games. However, the next game that I watched, this was like spam to me after it happened, because I assumed that people just like knew that this would be a game that was up my alleyway. And this is two teams that I have no idea about. I have never heard about before. Never heard of either of them. Apparently they've been around for a while, but I really obviously wouldn't have heard of them. It's Supermassive versus Kaboom eSports. Like, this was a game that was people wanted me to watch after I made that video, and it only happened like a couple days ago, I think. So yeah, Supermassive had 3 AD carries, they had 2 smites on their team, and they were against a Yasuo and a Rammus. So already before the game had even started, it was more exciting than the EchoFox versus FlyQuest game in my head. Like, I was already actually interested in the game before it even started, and this is probably the most interested I've been in an LCS, or not an LCS game, like a professional game, sorry, in the last like 5 years. So yeah. Starting off the game strong, both teams actually commit to an invade and a counter invade, which goes off for the first blood. This never happens. Every single time somebody invades the jungle, they run away. They never ever try and fight it. But this time, they'd actually committed, and I was so actually happy with it, man. 2 minutes in, they're still invading. 4-man invade onto red side top jungle. Absolutely insane. People fighting, we Sin struggling to survive. They end up actually managing to pick kills up here and there. What, like, it's fucking ridiculous. 6 minutes into the game, they're talking about Frostbutt Irelia, they're talking about the skin, they're joking around, and there's 9 kills at 6 minutes. Now, this is pretty much a game that I would consider like it being like the bronze spectates of like professional play. Like, I had no conceivable idea that this would be like a thing that was gonna be fun to watch. It was incredibly fun to watch, but I can assume that a lot of people don't want to watch it because it was just a bloodbath, and it was just like they were not taking it seriously a lot of points. But this was probably like one of the most enjoyable games I've seen in a long time. So you should definitely watch it. If you don't want spoilers for the rest of the game, you should go watch it. It's Supermassive versus Kaboom eSports. I'm gonna spoil the game for you now and just give you my rundown and my thoughts on it. So like, it's only 8 minutes in, and we've got Lucian like trying to outplay to get a kill, get a 1-for-1 trade. We've got the same thing happening top lane. The casters are great. Like, they're just having fun. They're not being too serious. Like, it's actually sick. Like, this game has everything. Like, it's got these clutch moments, like Braum barely managing to escape from the culling from Lucian, and he gets like cocooned by Elise, so it stops, so he survives. And there's just like all these clutch moments, and it's like, it's just so much that I want in a game, like an LCS game. It's got fun, it's got actually good plays, it's got clutch plays. I have no idea who either of these teams are. I've never heard of a single person on any of these teams, and this is probably like my favorite game that I've seen in so long. And like, can I just say, I write notes for this, so I sat with my notebook as I watched these games, like as I was watching the games, and generally, like, you know, you can timestamp. I would write down like where kills happen and what happens and like what the casters are saying, just so that I have like a frame of reference when I go back and like collect my thoughts to like fully do this. Like, this isn't really a scripted video, but I have certainly written down notes of like what happened in the games. I couldn't write fast enough in this game. I couldn't write fast enough. There was too much shit happening. It was ridiculous. There was so much happening. I could not write fast enough. By the time I couldn't even finish the sentence, I literally wrote down, I could not write. And then by the time I wrote that, there was already 30 seconds later, after I started writing it, the casters were just making fun of Yasuo. They're making fun of Yasuo players, and it was glorious. Let me just run that clip.
People know, but if you do ult someone under a turret, Yasuo's ultimate will position you as far away from the turret as you possibly can be, so you don't take turret aggro. Which, you know, cool little interaction if you're not a Yasuo man.
Yeah. And everyone, I'm sure, is excited to hear about all the quality of life features of Yasuo's kit. Yay, the champion set up to tower dive me. Fantastic.
So you got like some of the funnest casters that I've heard in a long time. We got like Irelia. There's a point like 11 minutes in where Irelia makes like almost the sickest outplay. Like, it was so nice. It was almost there, but it was a Rammus, and obviously the Rammus is against 3 AD carries. There was a moment as well, a little bit later on, at 12 minutes 30. where Lee Sin misses Rift Herald, a stationary Rift Herald with a Q, and it's just, you gotta watch it, you gotta see it, have a look at this.
Long enough.
Warning shot for the Rift
Yeah,
Herald.
you gotta let it. It's rude to hit someone unannounced. Unfair. There are rules in warfare, people. You gotta let them know you start.
So yeah, it's a great game. Like, the casters are just making fun of everything. They are, like, the Australian one in particular, really funny guy. 15 minutes in, they go absolutely mental, like, because two AD carries are 2v1 in a Rammus, and they both end up getting outplayed by the Rammus standing completely still, and it was probably one of the best moments I've seen in a pro game. Like looking, just like, look, one of the pro players is laughing. Like, I don't know how many times you ever actually see that, where the pro players actually just looks like they're having a good time rather than having, like, the death face of focus. But I'll play you the clip. It's fantastic. Seriously, at this point, if you haven't considered watching the game, this might make you want to watch the game. It's absolutely fantastic.
Block anything there, but Fat Fabulous is gonna get sold out. Stop auto-attacking the Rammus! What are you doing? Why would you do that? Outplayed, I guess.
To just break this down, see what happened here is he pressed W and then stood still, and then they just did the damage
I've
to
seen
themselves.
this one.
Yeah.
Spaceballs, veer slightly to the right.
So now we come into the final kind of parts of the game. Blue team, they actually finally managed to win a fight, and then Yasuo is pushing the Nexus towers, and the casters are just making fun of Yasuo, and then they end up getting rid of him, and then Lee Sin just ends up dying to minions. And yeah, I think it's really funny because, like, basically, if you don't know how casting works, I used to do a bit of it when I started, and actually, funnily enough, one of the guys, the guy who does the interview at the end, Merrick, I used to cast with him back in the day, back like many years ago. There was play-by-play and there's color casters, so there's two different types of casters generally when you do a league cast. So the color casters are the ones that they give you the analytics and the info in between fights. So they'll tell you, like, what happened, break it down, you know, theory craft essentially, what's gonna happen in this game, where the strengths lie, all that kind of stuff. And the play-by-play caster is the person that can talk the fastest, which is unsurprisingly what I was. And the thing is, like, in this particular game, there is no color casting. There is absolutely zero. It is all play-by-play because there is not really any downtime in between things happening, which I think is really great, as because I used to be a play-by-play caster. So yeah, so the inhibs are down. The enemy team, the red team, push it in, and the inhib respawns as they're on the Nexus. And instead of, like, taking the Nexus out, they just let the blue team respawn, and the game goes on for another couple of minutes, which then leads to Supermassive just surrendering the game and then bug splatting the entire thing. And it was just, like, a really fantastic game. And, like, I think maybe my thing is I might just not like maybe I don't know if that's a preference that people can have, but I think maybe I like the not full-blown pro scene, like the LCK and the kind of, like, world stuff when people were taking it super duper serious. Maybe that's just not my thing. Maybe, like, the kind of lesser events like MSI, and maybe this one that I'm going to in a week's less than a week's time, maybe that is a little bit more my speed, where people kind of don't take it as seriously. They're still good players, but they know how to have fun, and, like, it's, you know, not the end of the world. Like, there's not everything riding on it, if you understand me. There's not too much pressure. Maybe that's my kind of thing. Maybe that's just how I like my my pro play. But I don't know. I feel like, with that in mind, having watched that kind of not completely serious pro game, and, like, going to a non-completely serious event with, like, people, you know, competing for money or whatnot, maybe I'll actually enjoy the games. I was pretty worried that I would find it incredibly boring, but we'll find out, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. This might have been a kind of pointless video, but I feel like a lot of people that really like LCS but disagreed with my points before, hopefully they've got some closure on this whole thing. So I might not like the kind of games that you like, but I'm one step closer to kind of liking competitive play a little bit more, at least. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. It's a little bit of a different one, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And if you haven't already, I'd suggest going and watching that Supermassive versus Kaboom eSports game, because it was really interesting. It was quite funny. It was, if nothing else, not exactly a display of really great play, but it was very entertaining, and I think I value that over anything else. So yeah, take care guys, have a good one, I'll see you later, goodbye.